mostly eclipsed. And one of them is here today, Terrence Moore is somewhere. Where is he? Stand up, please, Terrence. And Terrence is a history teacher at Hillsdale. He started in Colorado, ran for 12 years, one of the best charter schools in the nation. He's a Marine. He's an inspiring teacher. He knows as much about how to do this as anybody walking the earth. And he, too, is incredibly important to this, as is Phil Kilgore. Please stand up, Phil, you too. I'm going to introduce to you in absentia a man who is a human type that we all need to understand, and understand how America produces such people. There's a fellow who lives up in Chicago. He was in the financial business. He founded a great firm, and he founded a great family, and he's been a friend of the college for a long time. And he has this gift, this fellow, and that is he's like Winston Churchill. He's a blubber baby. Anytime something happens that moves him and that he thinks is fine, he cries like a baby. He's ashamed of it. I've seen him try to cover it up many times. And he said to me one time, he said, "You know, you make me cry." And I said, "You know, Steve, any fool could make you cry." He was a friend of Milton Friedman. And Milton Friedman believed that the power of choice unleashed the force in every human soul to move the world and achieve the good. And he thought that school competition was the key. And Steve Barney knows that and loves that. And so my life for about a decade was a parade of Steve Barney every time I saw him, working himself up into a big cry and telling me that I had to do something about K through 12 education. And finally the day came. I said, "Okay, I'm tired of it. I think I know something we could do. We know how to teach, and we know how to run a school. Maybe we could help start some charter schools." Steve Barney is the main force in financially behind our effort in this regard. And like Chuck Cook, this wouldn't be here without him. Everybody please thank him. He's going to watch this tape. Why would the college do this? Hillsdale College is the easiest thing to understand on earth. It was founded in 1844, and it had these very simple and beautiful principles that are written in its original document. And those principles say that civil and religious freedom and intelligent piety are blessings so great as to be beyond any estimating, and that the way to preserve them is sound learning. And sound learning is the kind that teaches the moral and the intellectual virtues to the young. And let me tell you what those virtues are, because I'm about to explain why they're controversial today. All a virtue is a picture of someone operating as a human being ought. It's better to be courageous than to be a coward, even if it's hard to be courageous. It's better to be just than to be unjust, even if you might gain by being unjust. It's better to be moderate, even if you could have an excess of pleasure that especially the young want. Especially the young want. Because, of course, their bodies are growing and they are coming into themselves. But a fully functioning human being, the kind that is free and capable of having responsibility, that is a glory to the earth. If you want a picture of it, think of George Washington on a battlefield. Or think of him, because people would stand agape at the way he comported himself. Brave people would look and say, "Goodness, I never saw anything like that." And then if you want a vision of justice, think of George Washington handing his sword and his letter of resignation to the first American Congress, which, by the way, had failed to pay him and his troops. And then in humility, he gave them his office. And the point is, that is what a human being is made to be. And to be that is hard work. And that brings me to the last point, which is, why is this worthwhile? And I want to ask, before I make that point, how many of you here are parents of students in this school? See? It's the crowd, right? Now, I'll tell you something. This is going to be hard. And it's going to be harder on you than anywhere you could send your kid. because they're going to have to work. And all you've got as a human being is your time. And all you can do is spend your time well or badly. And you have chosen to spend it well, and your children will often not want to do that. And here, everything is organized to help them realize that they must. And you will have to help with that. Why is it unusual for that burden to be taken on in these days? Because, by the way, it is very unusual. It's a simple fact, carefully recorded, that a kindergarten kid in the United States of America stands at the top of the heap in math skills. It's measured across many countries. And every year they go to school until they get to be seniors. They descend until by the time they graduate, the average American kid in math is near third world levels. Why did that happen? It's easy to understand. Come to find out, great things are always done for love. And you must have the thing in your mind that you love if you're going to do the great thing. What do they teach in school today? If you look at the AP guide published by the College Board, and there'll be AP courses here, the introductory essay for teachers to the College Board's Advanced Placement Guide for Secondary Literature says that we used to think that we knew what literature was, but now we know that we don't. And so objectivity and factuality are out the door, and we now know that we are teaching the students to find their own reality in the text. And by the way, any fifth grader here will know the definition of the term reality. It means real. And the idea that each person could have his own is a rot at the heart of education in America, and it deprives the schools of their energy. They do not have a thing to love in common, and so they do not spend their days in a labor of love. And therefore, as simple as any mathematical deduction, the children do not learn. Now that is a problem that threatens everything in our country, because remember, our country was founded according to the conception of the laws of nature and of nature's God. And today, almost no one can name where that expression is in the founding of America. When Clarence Thomas was being confirmed in the Supreme Court of the United States, he got two questions from senators. Judge, he was a judge at the time. Where did you get this idea of the natural law? And he's sitting there not knowing how to tell them that it is in the first sentence of the Declaration of Independence. And so you see, liberty and learning hang on a similar thread of something high to love. And if you have that thing, and by the way, I walked around here this morning. There's 4 kids from Hillsdale College teaching in this place, and they're all kids to me, but look at them now. They're all grown up, and they're responsible, and they've got this great headmaster to lead them, and they get up in the morning thinking there is something great and urgently important to do, and we here do not set the standards. The standards, writes Alexander Hamilton, are written as with a sunbeam in the whole volume of human nature by the hand of divinity itself. And so those standards are out there. We didn't make them. We just wish to help the young to realize what they are and to serve them. And that will be hard and grinding work, and it will produce happiness and achievement everywhere it's undertaken. And that means this community right here, standing under this tent, is going to produce great things. And we who do not live here are only going to help and watch in admiration while you do it. And so I repeat my original point. It is a profound honor to be here with you today. Thank you.